I had a vision, and this vision started when I originally wanted to fly, and then I discovered a good number of people within Uganda and Africa itself didn't have that privilege. And this is what happened. I flew over and my dad actually explained, oh, by the way, he's learning how to fly. And one of the boys say, that's a lie. Your kind don't do that. That's for the whites. And my vision flipped over. If I make it and the rest of them cannot make it, it's pointless. From that day, I set forward to hand the skills I learned to the general community. So, when I was preparing this entire speech, I'd done a little history about Uganda's aviation story. But before Uganda's aviation story, aviation started by the Wright brothers, if anybody knows about the Wright brothers, who managed to get the first aircraft in the sky for a few seconds. It was just a few seconds. But from that day, that was 1903. And in Uganda, 1927, we received the first aircraft flying from Kenya, and it landed, and people probably thought it was a ghost. From that day to currently where we are, we have jetliners flying Ugandans back and forth. Where's my respect? I design aircraft, and mostly the power plant section, and rebuild them, so that one we can put away. I tend not to like those pictures because we don't take pictures like that. But once you get a chance to take one, you take one. So I work in design maintenance and flying as well. So what I was offering to the exhibition is opening up a way of Uganda producing aircraft and their own engines. As an individual, have managed to do this for the past 9 years, designing, manufacturing. And when I came to present, the presentation was more, half of the things that you've seen downstairs were designed and printed at home. And the idea is, if I can do it, the rest of Uganda can. We have brains in Africa, brains in Uganda that can actually design this. The only thing they don't have is the exposure. And I thought, why don't you bring the exposure to them? If one individual can do it, that means professors, university students, college students, high school students, can be able to innovate. If they see one of their own doing it, they should be able to do it. So I came with a 3D printer and I managed to print as much as I can. That 3D printer can be taken in your suitcase back home. And if we take something like 5 hand one to every single university, what has been produced downstairs that you are due to see can be presented there, and they can make something that comes out of their mind can be printed life-size. Today, I managed to print the UKhealthand president, and that's the miniature version. If somebody could take a picture, that is the UKhealthand president.
That is a real Hey, that is cool, isn't it? Yes. 2 days of work coming.
So, I'll do this as quick as possible. Now, the materials that have been used, as Ms. Ntege was, are recycled materials. There's somebody who asked me, where's the wastage? In Africa or in Uganda, we actually have a pollution problem, and that's a plastic problem. That was using a plastic bottle that we pulled out of a string. I mean, you see everything downstairs. And we managed to make something useful that's appreciated. We can move forward with technology. Now, I would start with something like that. You'd spray ceramic around it, melt the ceramic. After you melt the ceramic, you fill that with metal. We have jet engines that can be manufactured and can actually work. We do have the facilities, we do have the brains. I only came to show you that it is possible, it's being done. We had come with a flight sim because they would say, well, in Uganda we don't have enough airports. We came with a simulator for any young person who has a dream of flight. Give them a simulator. Simulators can be taken back home and we would have multiple flying schools. So the dream of flight in Uganda can carry on. It shouldn't be something that's so alienated to the people. That's why I decided to bring a flight sim, which is downstairs, and people would try the flight sim. Came with a 3D printer. I had decided to bring, and I mean, the auditorium were not so happy with that. We were going to bring a jet engine on ground, and unfortunately they say, well, this institution cannot deal with a life-size jet engine. So for the next exhibition that we'll be working with, if you have young people that actually want to touch and work on a live working jet engine, come down. It's a little painful that people will complain about Uganda Airlines and what happens. Well, let's build more engineers. Within aviation, we have more pilots than engineers. I'm here to raise up the engineers. So instead of importing engineers from across the board, we can make them back home. So I've just come to offer the Ugandan community and Uganda a chance of changing aviation history. This is the 99th year of Uganda having aviation within. And the dream is in the next 24 years, so that's not 2046, Uganda to have an operating homemade aircraft. We might not have the licensing capabilities of actually building, because we can't build something, and I've seen a few Ugandans attempt to build, but unfortunately the aircraft are not airworthy. Some of us can make things that are airworthy. Just welcome us back home and we'll give you the technology and the possibilities of getting this stuff done. I mean, I made this at home, printed at home. Why shouldn't you guys be able to? Thank you. If you have any questions.
Accessibility in terms of the cost of the training. So you said you put a simulator. Is simulation part of the main training process?
Absolutely. So now sometimes when people start their flight journey, the first thing that disorientates them is the way the aircraft moves. Because when you drive in a car, you have two forms of axes, which is left and right and forward. But with an aircraft, you have three axes, and that weird twist tends to get people to throw up. Now with a simulator, it will prepare your mind a way of working around. Now simulators are cheaper than aircraft. And so we can get a still simulator, or we can get a dynamic simulator. So the one we have downstairs doesn't move, but you can actually get dynamic simulators that will simulate the movements, and your brain will get used to that. Simulators are pretty cheap. If you get in something that's static, that doesn't move, it's for about £300 with the software, and you can learn this at home. By the time you go into a flight school, it cuts down the time for you to learn. Now, if you're doing your, so these are the licenses that people would have heard of: a PPL, private pilot's license; CPL, that's a commercial private license; and an ATPL. That's where, when you hear people saying, I'm a pilot, if you're a PPL, you're still a pilot. If you're CPL, you're still a pilot. If you fly an air balloon, you're still considered to be a pilot. Well, when you fly a drone. So being a pilot is not such a heavy thing. It's what vehicle you fly. When you're doing your ATPL, most of your hours are done in a simulator. And then you do 1-2 landaways with an actual aircraft, and that's how you start building up your hours. So it's an hour building thing. So you could definitely get it done.
I think at my age now, I'll probably pass it, but I would like my kids to potentially have the possibility.
We have people all the way ages 79 upwards learning how to fly. So it's never too late. As long as you can pass your medical, you should be okay.
Yeah, one question. And
Wow.
the cost of these courses, they vary from country to country.
Now, they vary to school and what your preference is. So sometimes when people starting out, they'll start out with something as small as a Cessna 152, and hourly rates would be right about, it's according to the flying school. Some people will hike them and the airfield that you're operating at. You can try out like a trial flight. I mean, you can go Virgin trial flights, and so many airfields offer them. That's something like £180 for 1 hour trying. And if you're not happy with it, you give up. But there are places like Red Hill, Biggin Hill, Shoreham, Blackbush, Farnborough, so many places where you can actually just go in and you say, I want to have a trial flight. And that's where your journey begins. Then they'll hand you a logbook where you can build your hours. You can do it over the course of 6 months, or you can just break that up into a few years and you still qualify as a pilot.
Fantastic. Thank you. So aeronautic engineering, is accessibility only university degree, or you can go as apprenticeship as well?
Now, you can go the apprenticeship way, which is hands-on. Some people feel, so personally, when I was starting this journey, the reason why I say anybody can, I'm a college dropout, and one of the worst colleges that people would say. So in dropping out, I still had a passion for aviation. I went down the apprentice way, and they first rejected me, but that passion started with me building RC aircraft, and Virgin took me on. From Virgin, I then went to lighter aircraft, and so on and so forth. So whatever path you take will work as long as you carry your passion forward.
We're going to do only one question so that we can see the simulator now.
Thank you very much. I sat here shaking with excitement, pride, and pain as well at the same time, because
Looking at Uganda, the education, the institutions, how do we have, because this conversation has to go beyond this room. That is my thinking. I know this is a start, and I know you've had more conversations, but how do we'll go back to our president again. How do we have such conversations be conducted in a room where there are policymakers that make curriculums for education and all things? Because if we do not have our curriculum meet the dynamics of the world now, and we're still operating like in the schools in Uganda, because we have students who come who may not have a chance to study here, but have the brain and are smart. And if they can have such support initiatives, but it cannot just happen by one conversation. We have policy, we have curriculum, we have institution, we have funding. How do we take this beyond this room and have more engineers? Because Ugandans are smart. We just do not have the opportunities to let us be in Uganda, to say.
So the lovely thing is I've been speaking to the UKhealthand president, and this initiative will be carried back home. It's something I'm actually offering. So training, any school, any university, absolutely easy. That's something that will take a week, according to the professors and whoever is there. It really doesn't take that long. As long as the country is ready to invest in this, let's start. It should have started really last year. But the last time I tried to make this offer, I had to jump through so many hoops of proving what I actually do. Unfortunately, when somebody who looks like me says I do what I do, 80% of our own people won't believe it. So they will make you jump through hoops. You have to prove where you've studied, what you can do, and all I care is the results you can produce. So we've started this journey, and I hope this journey goes forward. If it doesn't work in Uganda, it can work any other way in Africa, but we started the journey, and let's hope this journey goes all the way to the end.
Just to add to that, we had a conversation with I think managing director, the head in Uganda, Ms. Sandra, in regards to Richard working with Uganda Airlines. That was welcomed, and they were meant to do quite a bit with him during the Expo. However, I think sometimes things just slow down, but there is some work in progress going on there with Richard. Let's hope it materializes and not so many doors for you to go through this time.
Thank you.
It's all right, yeah. Okay, yeah, we're going to have to go downstairs now. Yeah?
Okay.
We're going did you want to say something more?
So I'm a personal representative in the United Kingdom of the Vice Chancellor of Makerere University. And I will ask him, start at the highest level in the university education sector. I'll ask him how he can signpost us to the relevant people in Uganda, including the Ministry of Education. And we'll start the ball rolling. But what I'm saying is that I am very blessed to have so many connections, and I want to use them all to leverage everything that's happened here. And I'm a person who's got a track record of delivery. So once I get into it, I deliver.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Richard, we'll give you to do your closing remarks, and then you lead us down to your stall.
I feel like the closing remarks would be downstairs. So everything is live for you. So one of the hardest things to actually manufacture, one of the first jet engines that was made in 1920, designed in 1928, and then manufactured in 1939. Now, you'll be shocked with this. Manufacturing jet engines are actually, it's easier to manufacture a jet engine than manufacture a regular engine. We have the materials back home. It's just the test facilities that need to be put in place. So people, there are a number of people who came in asking, how does a jet engine work? So I printed something life-size after they told us that we couldn't bring an actual jet engine in. But it was a vision, and we do have the jet engine. It's ready to come in when we get a facility that's able to do that. So downstairs, what you're going to see are working jet engines and other things 3D printers can make. I believe that we can get enough 3D printers in the country to actually do the work. It's not just my type of 3D printer, but 3D printers have done a lot. We have the brains at home, we have the designs and the ideas. Come and see what we can do. That printer will print anything. So come and see what the possibilities are, ask your questions, and thank you for this time. I hope you enjoy.
Yeah.